KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
Yo, what's up? I'm gonna kick it with the line, y'all know. Yo, Slum, can I kick it like that? Here we go. Well, it's time to make that change. People of the world today are fading. All of us have our ups and downs. You better think about it or you won't be around. What we need is a little bit of love, sent by one from heaven up above.
We'd like to say good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Church Information and Open Forum, if you believe that or not. I know I don't have my voice, but it's Marion Barnett. And saying good morning to you. I'd rather have Annie, actually Annie producing. I have Doc Dockery in here and have Clint. They're all producing this show this morning. Doc, you got it set up great this morning. Everything. Of all times for me to have strep throat this week. When you've done all this work. But we hope to have a fantastic program. If I can't make it, Marion Jr. will take it from there. But this has been a heck of a week. I don't know if I can remember so many different stories that have been such landmark, just out of this world, huge stories. What is the story of the week? Is it Lance Armstrong? Is it gun control? Is it the budget? Just some of everything is going on in this country this week. And then we have the inauguration. Whether you know it or not, the Senate, the House, the White House, and then Monday we get the last one. But the president will be inaugurated at least 3 times. But the official one, to believe it or not, is tomorrow in the White House. But Monday is, I won't call it a mock inauguration, but that's for the national public to see. So I'd like to hear from some of you if you're going up there, if you're already up there listening by computer, internet, and you're going to the inauguration. This one you ought to be able to really celebrate well for the simple fact we know he'll never run for office again. So this will be a landmark thing. And let me tell y'all, to everybody that's listening, I don't care what color you are, I will admit, I never dreamed I would see this day. I never dreamed it. I was at the inauguration in 2009. I never dreamed I'd see that day. But times have changed. There are a lot of great things. Yes, we got a long ways to go, but there are a lot of things that have changed in this country. A lot of things. I don't know, most of you listening probably don't have the faintest clue to how things really was in this country. You don't really have the faintest clue. Oh my God. I just see people laughing and talking and camaraderie. As I came in the studio, the gentleman just left there at the last show. They all some happy, wonderful guys, and they laughing and talking with the white men and Indian men, the white woman. I've seen the time that couldn't be. It was just a time that was just god awful. And this changed since I've been grown. So I never dreamed I would see a black man being inaugurated as president. I didn't believe that in 2009. And then turn around and being re-inaugurated in 2013. So, yes, things have changed. Do we have a long ways to go? Yes. No, I'm not confused. No, I'm not confused about anything. But let's admit, there are a lot of things that have changed in this country. And I'm proud to have been alive. Because I believe me, I never dreamed I'd be alive to see what's happening now. But right now, get your pen and paper out and get ready for Mr. Greg Barber. He'll be coming along in a minute. I'm going to give you some African-American history notes. Excuse me. But we got some things we want Clint's going to be pulling up for us to do a lot of research for you and give you some tidbits on Dr. King for on January the 15th, 1929. Michael Luther King was born in Atlanta, Georgia. We know him as Martin Luther King, but he was born Michael Luther King. He and his father changed their names for the revolutionary theologian after Martin Luther, who put his 95-point thesis on the door there in England to protest all the indulgences and the things that was going on in the Anglican Church. We had Obama to use Martin Luther King's Bible. Yes, he's going to use Dr. King's Bible on civil rights holiday, and he's going to use the Bible also of Abraham Lincoln. He will be using these great pieces of history when he is sworn in on Monday. That's going to be a great day. And we just got so much. Dr. King was born January 15, 1929. Also, on January 18th, in 1856, Dr. Daniel Hale Williams was born on this day, an educator and pioneer of heart surgeon. He performed the world's first successful open heart surgery at Providence Hospital in Chicago, Illinois, a hospital that he founded. Dr. Daniel Hale Williams. He did this in 1893. He was born in 1856. Y'all figure out how old was he when he did his first open heart surgery? Successful, the world's first successful one. 56 from 93. That's 37 years old. If I'm guessing right, it's about 37 years old. Excuse me. He did the world's first open heart surgery. Yeah, successful. Yeah, I want Doc. Yeah, go get me some of his Java. He makes a good. No, just black. And he makes a mean cup of coffee. Maybe that'll help me some. But anyway, that's a successful thing. So many things happened on this date. In 1969, UCLA renamed the Social Science Building to honor an alumnus. That was Dr. Ralph Bunche. Dr. Ralph Bunche, an alumnus of UCLA. They named the Social Science Building after Dr. Ralph Bunche. All right, on this day in 1918, John H. Johnson, publisher of Ebony Magazine and Jet, was born. John H. Johnson was born on this day, January 19th, in Mississippi. All right. And then in 1977, Clifford Alexander Jr. was named as the first black secretary of the U.S. Army. A lot of things to talk about, things we're going to got going on. But thank you. But we have to recognize we got a championship float going to be floating down the streets on Monday. The KNON float, I think it's won 2 or 3 times. So they obviously do a whole lot of work during the parade this coming Monday. The city parade is today. I think it starts, 9:30 or 10 o'clock, the city parade. And then 10 o'clock. And then Bill Blast Parade starts Monday, so I guess about 10 o'clock, same time. And I was told that they're going to turn this thing into just one parade. I guess they'll probably have that parade from now on Monday, the day that is earmarked to celebrate Dr. King's birthday. But reflecting Dr. King, reflecting his life and legacy, what are we going to do? How do or will you celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? Some will say, well, I had some to tell me they're going to throw some meat on the grill. I had others to say that they're going to do something, you know, they're going to have a party and all of this. What is your remembrance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? Have we reduced him to just a dreamer? I have a dream. Is that all we can think about? That is a great speech. But most people never, ever really listen to that speech. If you really listen to that speech, it's happening now, where he talked about interposition and nullification. That's states' rights. Interposition, nullification, nullifying what the federal government has passed. We have people right now that's trying to call for states' rights. During the time of segregation and Jim Crow, this was under states' rights, where we didn't even have the human dignity to go and sit down and eat a dinner or stop at a lunch counter, maybe go by a soda fountain or anything that should be a part of American life. We could not do that as black people because certain states said you couldn't do it. This is what the 64 Civil Rights Bill struck down, public accommodations. If you were driving on the highway and you saw a particular hotel and you want to stop, you and your family want to stop and rest for the night, you could not do that. States' rights in certain states, and most of those states were the states that succeeded from the Union to form their own union. They were called the Confederacy, and they wanted to hold on to Confederate thinking. Now we have much, and many of the same people trying to hold on to states' rights. That's what Dr. King was talking about. That is a great speech. I have a dream, but don't leave him asleep or daydreaming or whatever. Most people, listen to me, people, I was alive and well. I was grown when Dr. King was killed. Most people did not like Dr. Martin Luther King in his lifetime. I know how everybody's celebrating now, and they lifted him up. They considered him a troublemaker. They said he was someone that was tearing down America. Let me go one step farther. Most black people, many blacks, didn't like Dr. King, saying he was making it hard for them to go to their job and go to work and different things because he was upsetting their employers and the people that they work for. Most black churches would not have Dr. King to come into their churches. He was not welcome. There were only a handful of churches across America that allowed Dr. King to speak in their pulpits. Don't buy this fried ice cream about how everybody marched with Dr. King. Oh, no, they did not. He is much bigger in his death than he was in his lifetime. He's much more loved in his death than he was in his lifetime. This was something, an anomaly or whatever, but believe me, you all know the story. He was not even welcome in Dallas. He was not welcome. People, let's wake up and realize the reality. Let us not be dreamers. Let us live reality. Let us live and understand who Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was all about. There, he spoke many of those speeches that he spoke. He was a proponent for the poor, the downtrodden. When Dr. King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee, he was killed while he was there protesting for garbage workers. sanitation workers, union people. He was a union proponent. You better believe it. Now we got the same people. Is it break time? Almost? Okay.
When you take a break, you'll come on.
Okay. And he was a proponent for the working poor, for poor people, period. He was a proponent for the middle class. He was a proponent for the wealthy. The man could touch all levels of reality. Whether he was standing alongside kings and queens, he was there. He could stand tall, although he was very small in stature, among kings and queens. But he had no problem standing along those who were poor and downtrodden, maybe didn't even have a job. The man could touch all points of society. So this was a great person. Let's understand. Do we understand who Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. really was? And it's sad to say, the schools have reduced him to a dreamer. They're trying to say he was mild and meek. No, he was not. Dr. King was a roaring lion. People did not like him. He was hated. He was feared. You better not bring his name up in certain conversations with a lot of people. They just called him a troublemaker. I tell you what, I guess we're up against a break. We'll take a break now, and you can call me at 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. And you tell me, what is your thoughts of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? We'll be right back.
KNON presents its first Gospel Explosion Benefit Concert 2013. It'll be featuring the Mighty Travelers, Buddy and the Straightway Travelers, the Inspiration Cavalry Singers, and the Lee Street Missionary Baptist Church Choir. This is taking place Saturday, January the 26th. Doors open at 5 p.m. No Walls Ministry. And it's located at 3200 South Lancaster Road, Suite 408, in the back of the Lancaster Keith Shopping Center in Dallas. Your tickets are available at Bubba's Fats Burger in West Dallas, Elaine's Kitchen in South Dallas, Comp Cleaners in Fort Worth, Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, and on the web, KNON.org. God's got a blessing with your name on it, so you don't want to miss this KNON Gospel Explosion Benefit Concert. It's going to be hosted by KNON's own, the sweetheart of gospel, Francis Smith and Greg A. Smith. For further information, KNON.org or 469-471-4180.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
Would you help a word to burn? This is Sonny Boy Mark, and I'd like to take a minute here to tell you about over 60 minutes of great blues listening available now on KNON's Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 Blues CD. This is some great stuff, folks. 15 tracks from the Two Tones, Blues Boy Bo, Buddy Whittington, Andrea Dawson, Kirkland James, Sonny Colley, Johnny Red and the Roosters, the Chris Watson Band, the Rough Cut Blues Band, Jeff Stone with Charlie Love, David Millsap, Sir Loin and the Ass Kicking Machine, Michael J. and the Paul Bird Band, and JJ and the Detonators. The 1,000 copies we made are selling fast, and we won't reissue it. Get yours now at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Record Town in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's Records and Rewind Music. The CD is available as a download at cdbaby.com. All proceeds benefit KNON, sponsored by Forever Young Records. Vinyl copies available at Forever Young Records only. For more info on Texas Blues Radio Volume 5, visit knon.org. Your ears been bending for some blues? Well, feed them the real thing with Texas Blues Radio Volume 5.
The 27th Annual Elite News Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade and Festival is coming this Monday, January 21st on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in sunny South Dallas. The parade goes from Lamar to Fair Park and ends with a festival inside the Tower Building at Fair Park. KNON will be in the parade and at the festival. The annual Elite News Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade and Festival, the People's Parade, is a 27-year-old historical community celebration founded on tradition, heritage, and commitment. The voice of the people, KNON 89.3 FM in the People's Parade, the 27th Annual Elite News Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade, 10 a.m. this Monday morning on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Dallas. Without the work of Martin Luther King Jr., a station like KNON would not have been possible. The voice of the people celebrates Dr. King's legacy.
All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion, Barnett, your host, and I have a host producing. I have a fine professional staff. We got a professional staff. Believe me, the 27 years I've been on KNON, this station has come a mighty long ways. It has come a mighty long ways. I could be up on the second floor over on San Jacinto, and I could be a secretary because I could see from the second floor who's coming in the door on the first floor. It was just like that during that time. But I tell you what, online right now, got your pen and paper out? Do you have your pen and paper out? Let's get ready for Mr. Greg Barber. Get ready for Greg and our Solution Action and Job Line. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Fine. How are you this morning?
I'm all right. Doing fine.
Fine. Are there any jobs out there?
There are some jobs out here this morning on our SAT job line. That's Solutions and Actions Today job line, brought to you every Saturday morning during Church Information and Open Forum from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on KNON 89.3, the voice of the people. This morning on the job line, we have 1-800-FLOWERS is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.1800flowers.com. Once again, that web address is www.1800flowers.com. S&S DBA Kane Rentals is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to email your resume to rmartos@kanerentals.com. Once again, that email address is rmartos, RMARTOS, @kanerentals.com. Solar Turbines is looking for overhaul warehouse technician. They're asking you to apply online at www.solarturbines.com. Once again, that web address is www.solarturbines.com. RSR Group is looking for warehouse associates. They're having interviews Wednesday, January 23rd, and Thursday, January the 24th, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 1010 Avenue J East in Grand Prairie. Once again, RSR Group is looking for warehouse associates. They're having interviews 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Wednesday, January the 23rd, Thursday, January the 24th, at 1010 Avenue J East. That's in Grand Prairie, Texas. East Penn Manufacturing.
Repeat that again, because that sounds like some jobs a lot of these guys that's unemployed can go over there and get. Repeat it one more time.
RSR Group is looking for warehouse associates. They're having open interviews this Wednesday, it's coming to Wednesday, January the 23rd, and Thursday, January the 24th, from 9 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. that evening. They're interviewing from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. The address is 1010 Avenue J East in Grand Prairie, Texas. Once again, that address is 1010 Avenue J East in Grand Prairie, Texas. East Penn Manufacturing is looking for a warehouse clerk. They're asking you to fax your resume to 972-616-0685. Once again, East Penn Manufacturing is looking for a warehouse clerk. They're asking you to fax your resume to 972-616-0685. Dentitech is looking for a warehouse associate. They're asking you to apply online at www.dentitech, that's DENITECH.iapplicants.com. Once again, that web address is www.denittech.applicants.com. Randstad is looking for maintenance mechanics. They're asking you to submit your resume online to Rose, ROZE, Manji, MANJI, at Randstad, RANDSTADUSA.com. Once again, that's Randstad is looking for maintenance mechanics. They're asking you to submit your resume to an email address. That's Rose, ROZE, MANJI, at Randstad, RANDSTADUSA.com. You are a child-loving patient, an energetic individual, and would like to work in a daycare setting. The number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. Once again, if you are a child-loving patient, an energetic individual, and would like to work in a daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. If you are a person affected by addiction and need assistance with your recovery efforts, or an ex-offender trying to make their transition back in the mainstream society and need assistance with job searches, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Once again, if you are a person affected by addiction and need assistance with your recovery efforts, or an ex-offender trying to make their transition back in the mainstream society and need assistance with job searches, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Let me repeat that. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. The late, great Dr. King once said, a man who hasn't found something worth dying for isn't fit to live.
All right.
And that we bring our SFP job line to a close.
Greg, you wasn't even born in Dr. King's lifetime, were you?
No, I was not.
Boy, yeah. You must. You got an old spirit. You have an old spirit. You must have been around somewhere else.
let me share something with you. And Jesus said to his disciples, "How you show your love for me is how you love one another." Jesus said, "I came to serve, not to be served." Dr. King said, "All I want people to understand about me is Dr. King gave his life serving others."
Right.
Now, I have a cousin that's a bit of he kind of overindulges in alcohol, and we were talking one time, and we happened to ask him. It was on the heels of a funeral of a relative, and you get in this conversation, and he asked him, "Well, what do you want them to say about you when you die?" And he kind of looked, and he looked around, and he thought, and he said, "Cuz, all I want them to say about me when I die is that I tried to help somebody." Now, out of all the great things that you can say about a person, that's what Jesus said, that's what Dr. King said. Now, we asked each other, what do you want somebody to say about you? Is it where you went to school? Is it how much money you made? Is it your career? What kind of car you drove? Is it the house you lived in? Or is it that you gave your life, or you spent your life trying to help others?
All right.
That's the key. Out of all that Dr. King accomplished, he said none of that was important. All I want people to remember on that day was that I gave my life serving others. And I still remember pictures of Dr. King's funeral procession. He wasn't in a fancy hearse. He wasn't in a Cadillac or a Lincoln. He was even in the fancy horse-drawn caisson that we have today. Dr. King took his final ride in a cotton-picking wagon pulled by a mule.
That's correct.
A cotton-picking wagon pulled by a mule.
That may be one of the biggest funerals in history. That was it was gigantic. People were storming to Atlanta, getting to Atlanta any way they could. You had every dignitary that you could think of. I remember seeing Bobby Kennedy there, Richard Nixon, you name it, Kennedy. They were all running for president at that time, and you had all types of people there. That was a phenomenal day. But we have to understand, he did give his life serving others. And if we could be more like him, do everything we can to serve others, this would be a far greater world. All right, thank you, Greg. All righty. All right. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Steve. All righty. Good morning, Steve. Are you there?
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
I'm blessed this morning.
Yes.
And I just wanted to say what Dr. King meant to me. Dr. King was an innovator. He was a person that stood out because of his conviction. And nowadays we have people that speak out, but they don't follow through on their conviction. They tend to say what they want to do in life, but the next day it's something different. It's another. Every day they have a different agenda. Dr. King would state his agenda, then he would follow through on it with action. And we have a lot of people that talk now, but there's no action behind their talking. Dr. King was a person who would stake his life on what he believed in. And we don't have people that do that anymore. We have people that say a lot of good stuff, but there's no action of what they're doing. We have people downtown in City Hall and in the county commissioner's office that used to have action behind their words. But over the years, they've become, let's say, soft. Dr. King never became soft. He was never a person that just spoke it. He was a person that walked it. And,
all right, Steve, how old are you?
I am 47 years old.
47, okay. All right. Let's see, what is this? 13? You're not quite old enough to remember Dr. King in his lifetime, are you?
No, but I remember a lot about what he did. And what I do remember is that when we were growing up, we were ingrained in that over and over. We saw those films over and over. They don't even show them anymore. They don't even show them in school. We saw them over and over. It was like I was there. I saw them over and over and over, and it instilled in me how I was supposed to walk. And even now, even though I have gotten off the beaten path here and now, I still respect him for what he did. People don't even respect him for what he does and did anymore. Even if you wasn't there, you have to respect the things that he walked through to allow you to be where you are. You have to respect that. You have to.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for Dr. King, we would still be on the back on the bus.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Dr. King, we would still probably be eating in the back of lunchroom. We could still be eating in the back of lunchroom. If it wasn't for Dr. King, we probably couldn't even be drinking out of the same water fountain.
Yeah. And I most of our young people are not cognizant of that. And when I listen to you, and you're 47 years old, and you can't remember his lifetime, this lets me know if his legacy diminishes. I wouldn't say past, but if it diminish, it's because of us who will not continue to remind others the great deeds that he did. If it wasn't for Dr. King, I wouldn't be right here on this radio station right now. This is how much. All right. Thank you.
Can I say one more thing? I want to say that I watched the movie Barbershop. And if we start just keep on letting people make statements in movies about our leaders.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you're talking about Cedric
and
the
making
Entertainer?
jokes about our leader. Everything is not a joke. And everything is not to be a joke because you didn't go through it. I mean, it's okay. You got that freedom because of Dr. King to speak, but you're speaking.
Well,
but if we keep letting people make jokes about everything, then we're going to become a joke.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Thank you. And those people that was in Barbershop, most of them were not alive when Dr. King was living, and to them, everything is funny, but they have no idea of what we had to live through during his lifetime. They have no idea, and it shouldn't be a joke, and that should be a serious part of our history that we shall not allow to be defiled. All right, thank you for your call and comment. At Clears Alive, 972-647. 1893 972-647 1893. Let's go to Reverend Moss on line 3. Good morning, Reverend Moss.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett. How you doing?
Fine. You doing all right, preacher?
I'm doing good. I'm going to have to say hallelujah, good morning.
Yes.
Because you're on another subject. I've been here a long time. And I looked at all of Martin Luther King's marches and speeches. Mm-hmm. And you know, when he had got so powerful, even the white people were saying he's too powerful.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't time for a black president, but if you notice, he was leading up to that. That's why they got rid of him, because he had white folks start following him, start going in marches with him.
Right.
Yeah. I was here when
there were whites that protested.
Yeah,
Dr. King. There were whites that helped finance him, his travel and different things.
Yeah.
Viola Lorizzo, this woman from Michigan, lost her life going into Mississippi, registering black people to vote. You remember the 3 young men that was killed there because they were just registering people to do their guaranteed, life, what they had during the time that we had. People said they are up for, they love democracy.
Mm-hmm.
But these people were just giving them their right to vote, the constitutional right.
Mm-hmm.
And they were killed for helping people have their own constitutional right. Don't feed me this dope about how pro-American they are.
Mm-mm.
Because they're willing to take people's right to vote away and kill over this. This was serious time. And just like the caller before you, these things Cedric the Entertainer and some of these other comedians are doing, we need to put an end to all of that mess.
That's right. That's right.
It was not funny, believe me.
It wasn't funny.
It was not funny. You pull up to a white station and they tell you, all right, nigga, the only thing you can do is get some gas and get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
See, people think, he used that N-word. This is what they called us, and this is the way they treated us.
Ain't no need to try to hide it.
You were treated.
Ain't no need to try to hide it. They did it.
Fill up your tank.
Yeah.
And couldn't use the restroom.
Yeah, they take your money.
Get them out of here.
Yeah, they take your money.
Yeah, they took our money, but
and let me say this.
Amenities. Yes.
Let me say this, and I'm gonna let you go. I worked at a place called Woolworth's here in Fort Worth.
Yeah, F.W.
in
Woolworth.
the kitchen.
Yeah, I remember.
Now the strangest thing to me was we cooked their food with our black hands.
Yes,
and they ate our food out of our black hands.
Look, all the rich white, Dallas and Fort Worth already have a whole lot of rich white people. Did not one rich white man want nobody else cooking for him but a black person. That's what they didn't think nobody else could cook.
There was something wrong with that picture.
We wasn't good enough to sit down with him, but
there was something wrong with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this one thing, Reverend Barnett, and I'm going to get off.
I'm pushed for time, yeah.
Okay, all the black men, I'm not telling you to hate nobody, but black men, we got some of the prettiest black women in the world. Yeah. Stay with them.
All righty.
Amen.
Thank you. All right. I tell you what, I'm up against a short break, and we'll be back in just 1 second.
Hey, baby. Sonny Bryan's Catering presents the 14th annual KNON Blues Festival on Saturday, January 26th and Sunday, January 27th at Poor David's Pub. Join us for the biggest blues event of the year, starring the Royal Rhythmaires, Bobby Patterson, Blues Boy Bo, the Aaron Burton Band, Andrew Jr. Boy Jones featuring Carrie LaPie, Pete Barbeck and Seventh Son, Bonafide Blues, the Deep Ellum Rhythm Kings, the Dallas Blues All-Stars featuring Hash Brown and Mike Morgan, the KNON Blues Review with J-Back, Sonny Boy Mark, Blue Lisa, and Jeff Stone. Big Charles Young, the Drew Lane Band with special guest Sirloin, and the Super Kings. This is the big one. You never know who's going to show up as a special guest. Don't miss out on this huge blues show. Advance tickets are only $15 and are available now at KNON.org, Bill's Records in Dallas, and Forever Young in Grand Prairie. See you at the 14th Annual KNON Blues Festival, presented by Sonny Bryan's Catering.
Hey, baby!
If you are the low-income parent or guardian of children in need of childcare, there are programs available in the area that may be just right for you and your kids. Texas Workforce Commission offers solutions for families in need of assistance. Find them on the web at twc.state.tx.us. Click on Programs and Services in the blue bar at the bottom of the page to find out if you are eligible. 211 Texas, a program of the Texas Health and Human Services Commission, also offers child care provider referrals for families seeking subsidized child care. Contact them at 211texas.org or dial 211. If dialing 211 directly doesn't work on your telephone, you can call 877-541-7905.
Good morning. Marion Barnett Jr., your host, filling in for Marion Sr., who wasn't feeling too well this morning. The topic of this morning, we're talking about the day in Black history with Dr. Martin Luther King. We got some callers calling in and want to keep on subject. So let's go to our phone lines. Say good morning to Reverend Wright.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing this morning?
Doing just fine this morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was wondering, I hadn't heard from the past. How's he doing?
Oh, he's doing all right. He's going home to get some rest.
Well, that's good. That's good. It's an interesting subject. And just your callers just talked about the legacy of Dr. King, and for those people who helped Dr. King who were white, it's just amazing. Brother Barnett, I would wonder what would Dr. King say if he was here today as to what we have done since the Civil Rights Movement. I've been thinking about that. I've been asked that question on several of the radio shows. I'm not sure if Dr. King would be very disappointed at the African American community, because we sit back silently and allow things to happen to us that he actually died for.
Right.
And it's just amazing.
Right. I'm not old enough to remember him, but being around the youth and being around others, I'm sure that Dr. King would be very disappointed in where we've come and what he's died for.
And it's sad, and I thank God for your father and men like him who encouraged me to continue to fight for our people and not remain silent, because we know that, if we silence them, the tormentor, not the tormented. And as I look back over, I can almost imagine Dr. King said, I'm not walking out of that balcony, because 30 years from now, this will be all in vain, and that's unfortunate. It's just amazing how, we as a people, we came a long way and we turned around and went back.
Right.
We still live in a racist country. Yes, we do, but it's institutionalized, and that's unfortunate, because we're still, as a civil rights activist, on a daily basis, I'm fighting racial activities, and people don't know it. Like you come by the Mississippi, you're going to say, all those guys think that it's a joke, and they don't know what it's like, because they've been blessed to be in the entertainment business, and they're making lots of money. So they don't face what the average African-American man faces on a daily basis. But he's still fighting, and now the struggle is on our kids. Back when you were coming up, Brother Barnett, y'all didn't know anything about racism, because we broke the line. Supposedly we broke that gap, and everybody came together. But now that gap has been put back together, and racism exists even in the younger generation.
Right. Now, Reverend Wright, are you old enough? Are you old enough to remember Dr. King?
Absolutely. Brother Barnett, I grew up when Dr. King was killed. I was in the 7th or 8th grade, so we were well aware of what was going on. We were well aware what it was like for whites only, and then for the certain things that white folks can do that black folks can do. Yeah, we were well aware of it. It was our generation, Brother Barnett, that was genocide. Because they realized that as we grew up, we knew what the fight was about. We knew we had to continue to fight. And then the genocide got placed on the black man then. And it was done through crack cocaine. It was done through corporate America. They would give the African American woman a job that they should have given the African American man. And then once she received that job, they said, well, what is your husband doing? Well, he works at gas station. Well, what do you need him for? And they would divide the black family. And so it was a big genocide on my generation of people because we were the group that was going to make the difference. We were forced to go to white schools on the bus, and they would call us Negroes, niggas every day as we got in and off the bus. The teachers didn't teach us because they didn't know how to talk to us. And so it was my generation that they genocide.
Yeah, the divide and conquer.
They divided and conquered us, like I said, we were forced, every day we had the death coming from off the buses because we were being thrown rocks on the bus, or bricks or bottles were being thrown at the bus. But after we fought and continued to fight because we knew what Dr. King stood for, they realized that they were in trouble and that this was going to be a generation of African-American men that was going to change this country around. And so, back when we were coming up, cocaine was a rich man's high. There's no way that African-American men could get cocaine, but they fixed it, and they designed it where it would destroy the people. The unfortunate part about that, Brother Barnett, is not one African-American preacher stood up and said, you won't put cocaine in our community.
Not one.
Not a one stood up, had one little boy. Then we would, I don't care how long they've been preaching, but not, and you know why they didn't? Because they figure, I'm not staying in South Dallas, my church is in South Dallas. But I'm living in Dunkerville. They don't know every time they was coming to South Dallas, crack cocaine was getting a ride with them back. And eventually, it hits it in their household. And we got the mentality of not saying anything until it affects us is what's caused us to be in the situation we're in now. We had to indict the white folks in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s and the 90s. We had to indict the white man and the black woman. And now in the 2000s, we have to indict the black community. Because we sit back and what could have took us a 2-day journey has now become 38 years.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you a question, Reverend Wright, because you've been a fixture in the African-American community for a while. Do you find it that most men jump on with you and assist and help, or do you find that they pull back from when there's an issue in the African-American community?
We've been blessed. God has blessed me to organize a group of young African-American ministers this year that's been a voice with us. But in the past, with your father, with me, there were very few black men because we had the mentality, but it ain't bothering me. I ain't got nothing to do with it. When they started incarcerating black men and started this probation thing, and it became institutional slavery, not one person, there's power in numbers, brother. When is the last time you've seen 20 or 30 black men standing up for anything? We see it on TV where certain churches, how they got 1,000 black men. What are they doing? What are they doing?
Right.
If you've got that many organized, what are they doing? Absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Our education department is suffering. The jobs are suffering. There's more. What's making the white people mad is because I went to MHMR facility the other day, and the place is full of young African American boys drawing checks. They never had a job before their lives, but they drawing checks from people who've been working for years. They're saying there won't be any money, but that was by design, and nobody said a word.
Right. Exactly. Now, in memories of Dr. Martin Luther King, what will you be doing this weekend, Reverend Wright?
Doing what we continue to do, and that's to stand up for his legacy. Hope we can bless some people this week and helping them. The parade and thing is good to have for Dr. King, but if Dr. King, we kind of twisted that parade around. We honor and respect our military people, but Dr. King was against the wars. He was a non-violent person, and so, just blessing people. I thank God for our military. Don't get me wrong, we need them, but blessing people. We tend to think that having a parade honors people, but we're not doing anything. But every year having a parade. You know what? I think what would please Dr. King is what would please me, and what would please Reverend Barnett if when we go on to glory is that you continue to do the things that we did to help other people, not to glorify me, but to do what I did and help somebody. That's what his legacy should be about. And not just Dr. King, but Jesus as well. We got to continue to help people.
All right. Thank you for your call and coming, Reverend Wright.
Yeah, but you still said that. I'll call him later to check on it.
I sure will.
All right.
All right. On this day, January 19, 1918, John H. Johnson, publisher of Ebony Magazine and Jet, was born. A great magazine in the African American community all across the nation. Very popular magazine. Also in 1977, Clifford Alexander Jr. was named as the first black secretary of the U.S. Army. Now, that was in 1977. That was just 35 years ago. 1948, after a Supreme Court ruling, Ada Lewis Fisher applied for admission to the University of Oklahoma Law School. Fisher had been previously barred from the racially segregated schools in 1948, just a year after my father was born, and she applied. All of these things seem like it could be a long time ago, but they're not. These are short periods of time, and I know many of the youth feel as if these things are ancient because a lot of things are seen in black and white TV, and I know growing up looking at things that were seen in black and white TV, it was kind of like, it's far-fetched. It's kind of like it's a movie you watching, and it's not real. But the older you get, you kind of, okay, maybe certain things can be real, and maybe they can happen when certain things happen to you. But many of our youth don't actually look at this and say, okay, these are things that could happen again, because they're not happening directly to me. So again, I'm only 33, so I can understand where the youth are coming from, but it's on the parents. Parents, you gotta teach your kids. You got to teach your kids, even when they don't want to listen. Sit them down and talk to them. You got to have those evening dinners where you all can sit down and talk about it. As a teacher, I used to have subjects on Dr. Martin Luther King, and I'll be honest, most of my students didn't know who he was. They knew about him, but they thought he was the president of the United States. And these are high school kids, so you got to sit them down and talk to them and go over the history of what it took to get to this point. When you know where you came from, it's always a good sign that you know where you're going. It's always a good sign you know where you're going when you know where you came from, okay? Let's go back to our phone lines. Let's go to line 1 and say good morning, Mr. Williams.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
How you doing this morning?
Doing just fine, and yourself?
Great. I have two quick questions. My question was for Senior, but I understand he's under the weather, and you're voting age, so I'm going to put it on to you. Number one, are you concerned about the lack of black people in the president's cabinet? And that's one. And number two, the city of Chicago, our president's home city, has averaged 42 homicides per month, every month this year. And only till Connecticut did he decide to take time out of his day and write a speech and deliver it to the relatives of the victims there in Connecticut. Now, my other question, do you think those people are more precious than the ones in Chicago that the president sees? And one other thing, and then I'll hang up. I don't think that we should mention this president's name in the same sentence with a Martin Luther King or Medgar Evers or even a James Lawson. He hasn't paid any dues. And I'll hang up and listen.
All right. Thank you for your call and comment, Mr. William. First question you asked was about he doesn't have enough African Americans in his cabinet. To each his own. He's still the president of the United States, and I'm not sure exactly what his reasoning would be. I know my father would have a whole lot to say about that, but he still has another 4 years left. So let's just see what he can do with it. I think as an African American, we have to raise our voice. To the second question about what's going on in Chicago, there are murders out every day up there, and yes, him being coming from Chicago, you would think he would say something, but again, it goes back into politics. I think if the community step up and put the press on, like the situation in Connecticut, you would have more press there. You would have more people standing up. He would have to address it. He would have to address it. We need the leaders of Chicago to step up. And if you want to go there and protest and do everything you can, you have to do what you're supposed to do in order to get it publicized. Okay? Many people feel that maybe President Obama is not doing what he should do, is not doing what you want him to do. But you have to look at it in twofold. I look at my children. I have boys, and they can see a man that resembles them in a powerful seat. Now, before a minute, I heard many people say they never imagined an African American president, but now they have this visual. So that purpose alone, that right there, gives them hope. That gives them so much hope to see, okay, well, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can arise above all. Before President Obama, you had Jesse Jackson back in '88, who was trying to become president. And I was a youth at the time, but I remember certain things. But when he didn't get it, of course, you just kind of feel, well, nobody's going to vote for a black man. And it turned everybody's hope to, well, see, we told you so. It was a you told you so type of thing. So by President Obama being elected president, this gives our youth great hope. Great hope. You know, sure, we would like to see him do more things. Everybody want him to do something for them. But remember, we got to keep in mind, he's the president of America, not just black America, but all of America. And we got to raise our voice and do our part as well. Okay? Let's go back into some history facts. Well, let's take a short break, and then once we come back, we go into some history facts. We're up against a short break. But please call in 972-947-847. 647-1893, 972-647-1893. Thank you for your calls and comments when you call in.
You're listening to KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
As Will Rogers said years ago, this country has come to feel the same when Congress is in session as when the baby gets a hold of a hammer. That's how I felt when Congress held a rare New Year's Day session to pass an even rarer bipartisan agreement. I'm not one to moan about the lack of bipartisanship in Washington, because when the two parties actually agree on something, it usually involves either putting America into war or handing out goodies to big corporations, or both. On the surface, this congressional get-together looked okay, for they met to pass the American Taxpayer Relief Act, widely touted as a deal to benefit the middle class. Indeed, there were some good gains for regular folks in the 157-page bill. But look out, the baby had the hammer. Sure enough, the bipartisan deal was riddled with huge handouts to corporate interests that hardly need relief. Goldman Sachs, for example, one of the richest banks on Wall Street, got a juicy boost from Section 328. It extends for another year the tax-exempt financing that was intended to help small businesses in New York's Liberty Zone rebuild after the devastation of the 9/11 crash bombings. Forget small businesses. Extending the Liberty Zone tax break meant that the massive new headquarters building that Goldman is erecting in Manhattan will get a reported $1.6 billion in tax-free financing. The corporate giveaways in this bipartisan bill will take $68 billion out of our public treasury this year alone. Some of the breaks will stay in effect for 10 years. Now that's relief. This is Jim Hightower saying, as Senator John McCain said of this ripoff, it's hard to think of anything that could feed the cynicism of the American people more than larding up must-pass emergency legislation with giveaways to special interests and campaign contributors.
Yo, what's up? I'ma kick it with the line, y'all know. Yo, Slim, can I kick it like that? Here we go. Well, it's time to make that change. People of the world today are fading. All of us have our ups and downs. You better think about it or you won't be around. What we need is a little bit of love, sent by one from heaven up above. Take it from T, it's simple and plain. This ain't no game, you know.
I want to thank Reverend Barnett and Cecil at the same time for letting me have this couple minutes to let you know that you can find these videos on KNON. You go to the KNON Find Your Show, and when you bring up that page, you will find at least 4 weeks worth of videos there for you to look at.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And if you want to go deeper, you can go to our website on YouTube, which is YouTube/Two Hats Publishing. That's TWOHATS. Publishing. Don't have to be spelled out, please. 2 in the morning. And you can find all the videos that we have made since October 6th. So come out, take a look at it and see what we're doing. We've got a new arrangement on the show plan today. So come take a look at it as well.
Okay, now can they go straight to YouTube and just type in something in the search bar as well?
You can type in KNON, or you can type in this show's name, forum and what have you, and it'll come up. But this one YouTube is very slow about accepting our videos, so it takes till almost tomorrow before all the videos will be up.
Okay, so it takes a day for the videos to blow up, but
at least 24 hours, yes.
Okay, so you can you can see the show.
Right.
Direct listen and see on YouTube. Okay, good. Could you give that website again?
All right, that's YouTube /Two Hats Publishing, and then you just do this. That should bring up our page, and then you just search for what one you like. It comes up in alphabetical order, I'm told.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Well, we give it again before the show.
All right.
Okay. Again, let's go back to some history on this day, January 19th in 1848. Lewis Temple invented the temple toggle on this date on January 19th. This invention revolutionized the whaling industry by giving the hook a harpoon that held whales securely. And we see that if you look at the Animal Planet, they're always in the ocean getting those whales out with this. All right. It's called the Temple Toggle on this day in 1848. All right. Let's go back to our phone lines. Let's say good morning to line 4. Ike on line 4. No, not Ike. Let's go to line 2. Excuse me, line 2. Let's say good morning to Tony. Tony, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Just fine, and yourself?
All right. I want to make a comment. You said something that I think that we don't recognize. You said that the image that your sons see when they see the president, and then I thought when you said that, my mind is they also see you,
right?
A black man,
right? They do.
So so it's to me, you are there in their lives and present. One of the biggest things we have is that we have to disconnect with our sons and our daughters as black men. And because of that, we put this pressure on President Obama to be all to the black community.
Uh-huh.
And your father always mentions this every now and then, is that we have social programs, welfare, government handouts. We look for someone to give us something. Not all of us, but a simple portion of the black community. And as soon as the government changes hands to a Republican, they want to cut these programs, the first people crying are us.
Right. Now, Tony, let me ask you something. Do you mentor?
I do not.
You don't? You do have children?
Yes, I do.
And your children get to see you in action every day, right?
Yes.
That's a great thing. I know I'm a great father to my children. and my children get to see me on a daily basis. But it helps when you see someone else that's doing something that hasn't been done before. That's typically not of your culture. It helps when you see your father doing as well as someone else. All fathers should be in their children's lives, and first and foremost, I'm one of them. My father's in my life. He, when somebody asks who's my role model, him first. But being able to see someone else out there doing something also helps, because you got to keep in mind, when they sit down and they watch TV, what do they typically see on a black man on TV doing? Typically, he's a comedian.
Yes.
Typically, he's doing something that's not constructive. Typically, he's doing something that's going to tear down what we supposed to be doing. I heard a gentleman called earlier made the comment about barbershop, made a joke about Martin Luther King. See, this is what they see on a regular basis, outside of their own father. So I feel by President Barack Obama being elected president for a second term at that is an astonishing accomplishment in young African American boys' life. Because, as you know, many of them don't have their father.
True.
Many of them don't. So many of them grow feeling like, hey, this is something I can't do. What's the point? What's the point of doing good in school? What's the point of going to and from, doing everything that these men are telling them to do? But now you see a black man sitting in at the top seat. Now they feel like, okay, well, it can be done. So I've heard many young boys say they're going to change what they're doing. This is back in 2008, just based on this alone.
Well, and you're right, because we know, and I'm not trying to be racist when I say this, the seat of presidency, you are really the chief of the world, and to have a black man over it is one of the reasons you see the resistance and the racism you see with President Obama being in power, because here is this black man who's the head of the United States, who represents the United States, and you have this, he cannot do his job, blah, 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 whatever. And one of the things I think is that Martin Luther King fought for this. Now, did he fight for a perfect black man as presidency? No, he didn't. Just the opportunity to get there is what he fought for. And then I think for us, we have sanitized Martin Luther King. Many great things he has done. But, there are things that I think that we forget that he did in the sense that, and someone could correct me if I'm wrong about this, but when his family got attacked, our house got burned or whatever, bombed or whatever, he actually wouldn't go sign for a concealed handgun. Not necessarily because I'm not saying he's not violent or not, but at the time his family being attacked, he didn't get one. He didn't get a gun, but he actually filled out the application.
That was on the movie?
No. This is real life. I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about, he filled out a concealed handgun license. The sheriff didn't give it to him. You didn't know why, because number one, he was white. And number two is, he voted Republican. And I think sometimes we don't see that part. And I'm not saying he voted Republican because of the conservatism. I'm saying these are things that I think are not put into play when we talk about Martin Luther King with the nonviolent speeches. You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes we act like he wasn't human, and he was. But he grew in the nonviolent movement. After he read I can't think of the man from India name, but when he read his book, nonviolence became his mantra. And I think sometimes we say, okay, Martin Luther King was done this, Martin Luther King was done that. The reality is, we don't know what Martin Luther King would say right now because he's not here. With the spirit, we can say what he might have said, but we do not know.
Well,
so I will leave you with that.
All right. Well, thank you for your call and comment, Tony. Thank you for your call and comment. Let's go to line 3 and say good morning. Good morning, Mike.
Yes, sir. How you doing this morning?
Doing just fine, and yourself?
Oh, I think I'll be all right. I'm not going to ramble on. I'm going to try to get a couple of facts and points in. America right now is not about color. It's about people with money and Obama's going to help people that give him the most money. He's not no transparency. He's doing the same thing Bill Clinton them did. We praise Bill Clinton. We know what he did in the White House. When the White House, he got more prestige than any average man that's doing good by their kids and their wife, their mother, and their family. So we got to understand that what Martin Luther King was about, that was one of the real righteous reverends and preachers, whatever you want to call them, that try to do right by the people.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't perfect. No, there's no man walking this perfect. But I want people to understand that Obama is not running this country. You need to find out who's running this country. He's a sambo. He's doing what them rich people tell him to do. That's all he can do.
Well, hey, watch your language, sir. We can't.
But he's a sambo, and tell him to come get me, sambo nigga. That's what he is.
All right, thank you for coming. All right. Please watch your language when you call in, or just don't call in. How about that? Let's say good morning to Mr. James Smith on line 1. Good morning, James.
Yes, good morning. We're doing fine here in Palestine. I hope Reverend Barnett get to feeling better.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he will. He's resting.
Yes. I can understand the young man that spoke a minute ago and a few others of their anger about what's going on, but I want to go here, and most of the time when I talk, I bring it to the preachers, to the ministerial alliances. This is where our strength, and Dr. King himself said it. He said the church should be the headlight and not the tail light. And what I say about that is what your father said a lot of times. The elders, those that sit in those pews and pulpits, has the expertise, the money, the retirement, and the time that they can bring our people into where we need to be. When President Obama pastor was attacked, I don't think any preacher stood up and said, hey, this is what this is all about. This man has that right. This man is going to church and trying to do the right thing and listen to the word of God. And he conducts himself more like a Christian than any of those other presidents that I can think of as far as, witnessing what I hear and see and the policy making that he's trying to get done. It's all about the people. And he's always giving respect to Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King and all those other people that he's standing on their shoulders to get where he is. We have these broken families because, let me call these names out so you know, like Joel Osteen. We have T.D. Jakes and all those guys looking in Dallas, looking in Houston, and people homeless and all these other concerns. Where are those guys that got all this money? And one caller said there's somebody talking about they got 1,000 men or so in their churches. Like you said, what are they doing? Get out on the streets and patrol. Right. Get involved. Come get involved with Reverend Barnett. Mm-hmm. Walk the streets of Dallas, Houston, all over Texas, in the United States, and get involved, with people's lives. I think what we have is a lot of Eli boys. If you read the story about Eli boys in the book of 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel, those were preacher men, so-called men and women of God, that was misusing the church. And I think we have a lot of that, because I say a lot of times to your dad, the church, the pastor has the largest audience at any one time and the largest amount of money at any one time. When he or she collect that money on Sunday, they take it down to white institutions on Monday, and a black person or a minority or somebody go down there trying to get a loan, you got to have collateral or whatever else. This is a bargaining tool, and I know a lot of preachers out there, pastors, church-going folks listening to me right now will be upset with me. But we have to realize this and use our common sense. We're being attacked, and everybody get upset, but the president can't be everywhere. Where's all those preachers and churches that's in Chicago where all this shooting and killing is going? Where are they right there in Dallas? Where are they right here where I live in Palestine? Mm-hmm. This church is too silent to me, and they scared, because if you believe in Jesus and God, and you always running and hollering, no weapon formed against me, I can do all things through Christ, great is he than me. If you're not going to believe that and get out here and do what you should be doing, like your dad taking a stand now, well, shut up. I would tell all the so-called church folks and pastors. I know they may be upset with me, but this is the way James Smith work in Palestine, East Texas, Anderson County. And, I have to do this, and this is the way it is. A lot of people would come on the radio and won't talk like this. They're afraid, well, I got to do this and that. No, you haven't. I'd rather answer to Jesus. And that's the one. Let me say it this way, and I'll sum it up. I know I'm taking up a lot of the time. But Jesus and God is the only one that can get me into heaven or hell. Can't no man. And the Bible tells you, don't put your trust and confidence in man. He will let you down, you know.
That's right. And like many people like to quote scriptures, faith without works is dead. Many people have faith. Oh, well, we just going to sit here and let them do. I got faith in God. He going to do it. He gave you the strength and the ability to get up and do something about it.
Yes, he did.
So
that's right.
Faith without works is dead. Okay.
Let me tie this with you. I appreciate you stepping up in your father's shoes, and big shoes to fill, but let me wrap my getting off the radio with this. Here's what the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said about being a good neighbor. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenges and controversy. That's what it's about. A lot of people got their little positions and money and don't want to lose it. We are supposed to be our brother's keeper, and you can run to these churches tomorrow. They'll fill up the churches and be out there marching like, you know what, on Monday with Dr. King, but let's be real and be the real Christian person that we supposed to be. It should be all people in Dallas and Fort Worth and all throughout Texas and the United States of America. I will leave these two scriptures with the people as I close out. In the book of St. Matthew, chapter 25, beginning in verse 31, Jesus says something that he's going to do. And then in the book of, I want to say, Revelation chapter 18, read in there about what America is about. She has gotten all these nations and countries drunk, and she's selling them out. And one other thing as I close, the Republicans to me remind me of that group that Joseph and the other guy, Nicodemus, come out of, the Sanhedrin in the Bible. That's what these Republicans remind me of. I appreciate what you're doing and keep up your great work.
Thank you for your call and coming.
Yes, thank you.
In Palestine, Texas. I feel like we at an age where many people want to be liked. Everybody want to be liked. And what Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King did was, at the time, many people didn't like him. You had more that didn't than that did. He didn't really get his just dues till he passed. Now, again, I wasn't old enough to remember, but just looking at the story and the history of how things go, you have people angry with President Obama. It'll be after he's done is when everybody maybe appreciate what's going on. But we live in an age where everybody want to be liked. That's why I feel like you don't have many men want to step up, because it's not, when you're doing the right things, it's not the most popular thing, or it's not, many people may not like it. And it takes a real man to stand up and do what many wouldn't do to see just happen. Let's go to our phone line one more time. Actually, before we go to our phone line, we're going to take a short break, and we'll come back to our phone lines.
If it's time to get rid of your old gas guzzler, the KNON Vehicle Donation Program can help. There's still a market for those old vehicles, and if you donate it, you're helping to support quality programming here on KNON. Just call 877-KNON-AUTO or go online to KNON.org. We'll take care of everything from pickup to tax paperwork. That's 877-KNON-AUTO or online at KNON.org.
This is Sonny Boy Mark, and I'd like to take a minute here to tell you about over 60 minutes of great blues listening available now on KNON's Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 Blues CD. This is some great stuff, folks. 15 tracks from the Two Tones, Blues Boy Bo, Buddy Whittington, Andrea Dawson, Kirkland James, Sonny Colley, Johnny Red and the Roosters, the Chris Watson Band, the Rough Cut Blues Band, Jeff Stone with Charlie Love, David Millsap, Sir Loin and the Ass Kicking Machine, Michael J. and the Paul Bird Band, and JJ and the Detonators. The 1,000 copies we made are selling fast, and we won't reissue it. Get yours now at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Record Town in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's Records and Rewind Music. The CD is available as a download at cdbaby.com. All proceeds benefit KNON, sponsored by Forever Young Records. Vinyl copies available at Forever Young Records only. For more info on Texas Blues Radio Volume 5, visit knon.org. Your ears been bending for some blues? Well, feed them the real thing with Texas Blues Radio Volume 5.
The 27th Annual Elite News Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade and Festival is coming this Monday, January 21st on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in sunny South Dallas. The parade goes from Lamar to Fair Park and ends with a festival inside the Tower Building at Fair Park. KNON will be in the parade and at the festival. The annual Elite News Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade and Festival, the People's Parade, is a 27-year-old historical community celebration founded on tradition, heritage, and commitment. The voice of the people, KNON 89.3 FM in the People's Parade, the 27th Annual Elite News Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade, 10 a.m. this Monday morning on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Dallas. Without the work of Martin Luther King Jr., a station like KNON would not have been possible. The voice of the people celebrates Dr. King's legacy.
All right, good morning. This is Church Information in Open Forum. I am Marion Barnett Jr., your host this morning, filling in for Marion Barnett Sr., who's took ill. He's home resting. Got two parades going on for the Martin Luther King holidays. One this morning. Some of you guys may be participating in them, going out to celebrate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. But what are you really doing outside of these parades? What are you really doing besides seeing people walk down the street with their banners and promoting their businesses and their schools? And although it's a good cause, what else are you doing? You have one this morning down at Dallas downtown, and one Monday, 10 Dallas. That one going down to MLK. Let's talk about Martin Luther King weekend. All right. Let's go back to our phone lines and say good morning to line 4, Ike. Good morning, Ike.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I want to commend you for the great job you're doing stepping in for your father, which he does a great job every Saturday morning. And Martin Luther King, this is a great day, and, I remember Martin Luther King during my lifetime, but not all the great things that he done, because I was a kid when he got killed. Mm-hmm. But I was listening to the gentleman call earlier, and I don't like to criticize other callers, but I'm proud to have President Barack Obama as being president of this country, and I understand that it's just so many things that a man can do for you, so many things that you as a father can do for your children, me as a father and a grandfather can do for mine, and some things they're going to have to grab hold for themselves. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to, the president, he has brought in, trying to bring in low-com insurance for everybody, every citizen.
Right.
And that's a great thing. No president had ever tried to do that. And, we can talk about the people that's on welfare and that need to get off and try to get jobs. Good, able-bodied people. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about the people who need it. Right. But one thing I do know that this, we talk about the situation in Chicago, but not only are kids and people getting, every day in the Dallas Morning News, you read about somebody getting killed, whether it's at the mall, in the neighborhoods, at the park. And this president has addressed gun control, but it covers Chicago and Alaska and everybody, Mm-hmm. So I'm with the president. So we got to spend less time fighting people who's fighting for us. And I think that once we understand who we fighting, who the enemy is, who is our neighbor, who is our brother, I think we can kind of get a better understanding on which direction to go. I was listening at Reverend Ron Wright this morning, and like you said, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. Anybody can talk tough, but standing up, when it do really get tough, we got a lot of stuff going on right here in our city, and not only just in the country. So I think that we're gonna have to just understand, and it's to start calling people names, and the guy called the president out his name, but Martin Luther King marched so we could have access to the radio. Right. Let's not abuse it, by belittling a person, because everybody is entitled to their opinion, and because we all do have opinions, whether we agree or disagree, but respect. Once I respect you, then I can, I can't demand that you respect me, but I don't have to take down because you don't respect me.
Exactly.
But I think that we're going to have to learn how to be men and be adults and be men and women If you call yourself a Christian, be a Christian. You know, be who you say you are. Don't be a hypocrite. But I just wanted to get that point in, and I just want to commend you again for the great work that you are doing, and your father have done a great work. And there's so many great people in Dallas that's we're trying to get over this cloud of bad witnesses that we have before us. People that's, you know, like some people talk about the people in downtown, whether they downtown Dallas or in Washington, D.C., that's not doing us any good. Let's not kick the ones that's trying to help us, but just want to get that off my chest, and God bless you, and have a great day.
Well, Ike, before you go, let me ask you a question, because you said you made a comment. You are old enough to remember Dr. Martin Luther King while he was alive. While he was, I know you said you were a kid, but do you feel that many people was with Dr. Martin Luther King while he was alive, or did they?
I don't think, you know, people like your father and some of the older pioneers right here in Dallas, they'll give you a history about certain things here in Dallas. Who stopped King from really being effective in Dallas? So you find out that a lot of it wasn't none of the people you think it was, the people, the white people, so you might call it. There's a lot of black ministers and everything here. The black ministers here that they didn't want King speaking for them, for whatever reason, whether it's because the banks had liens against their churches, or because they were scared that, you know, whatever, but they were jealous. I don't understand what was going on, but your father, he touched on that this morning on the radio, that Martin Luther King was not that very effective in Dallas, and we just hate to admit to that. It's because the mentality here. See, we have this mentality in Dallas, and I hate to criticize, but we have this mentality that it's deep down slave-like mentality. Then the people that are in leadership here, they just leading us around circles a lot of times. You know, they're not leading us to the promised land. They're just leading us round and round the wilderness until we're wore out and get old and, you know, retire or die. You know, because I tell people all the time, Oak Cliff, South Dallas is prime real estate, owned by Dallas. I mean, owned by a lot of black people in Dallas. But just like they say, Deep Ellum was owned by a lot of black folks, and all out there by Love Field was owned by black people. But through being led around the same old circle, we lost that land with, you know, enemy domain, or however they took it, or give it to you for not paying, take it from you for not paying your taxes.
Right.
But we need leaders that's going to stand up and say, hey, don't move, don't run. Let's build, let's rebuild, let's create in our own area. Until we get that type of mentality here, instead of everybody saying, well, they're going to do what they want to do. I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to march because they're going to do what they want to do. Martin Luther King did not have that type of attitude. They might do what they want to do, but we're going to stand against it. And, you know, they might do it, but it's going to be over my dead body. You know, I've been fighting my son's case. I'm not going to get all off of that for years. And I refuse to give up.
All right.
So,
well, thank you
have
for
a great
calling.
day. Okay, thank you.
And in Dallas, I think we've become very complacent. Very complacent. Dallas is one of the richest cities in the world, and many people don't want to rub the wrong shoulders. I feel, that's why I feel like many people don't want to step up, don't want to do certain things. It's easy to complain. Easy. I can call and complain all day, but until I step up and do something, my complaining don't mean anything. Let's go back to our phone line. Say good morning to line 2, Reverend Bush. Reverend Bush, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine, blessed, and this is my first time ever calling in and actually speaking on any of the subject. But there are a lot of people that are concerned about what's going on out here, but can't do anything about it because of the state of fear that they have. And one of the things is our young people have been confused and misled by the poison that they have been given, presented with fast money and many other things. But my thing is I was born in Anderson, Alabama in 1959. And I remember a lot of times that me and my oldest brother wasn't able to go through certain parks and certain communities, certain houses, development, and things like that because of the fear of someone attacking us.
Right.
And I know that Dr. King has made this possible for us to live at peace now. Well, a lot of people don't see that and realize where we come from. And I remember when President Kennedy got killed in 1963, I was like 4 years old, and I was standing in the backyard with my mother, and she was hanging out clothes, and all the bells over Anderson started ringing from everywhere. And I remember grabbing her by her dress tail and said, "Mama, what's going on?" And she was crying and everything, and I had no understanding about what was happening. Well, as the time went on, I began to understand how we was eating, how we was able to live, and we was in places that we just was nasty for us. And I remember also the surplus food and stuff that the military provided for us instead of food, part of like food stamps. And a lot of the people that wasn't able to get that kind of food used to come to us and buy that food from us. But it's so much that's going on and so much we have on our minds that stands in our way and prevents us from doing anything. We have the state of fear that's still in us. Would you die? Would you go out and put yourself on the line and say, I'll stand and no matter what, if somebody come against me, I'm going to teach about Jesus and tell the truth about Dr. King. That was, I'm in college as well. I attend Grace Christian University, and there are students that talk every day about money and charity and stuff. And I heard some of the ministers speaking to people talking about the charity. What is a true charity? And I believe that charity, you put yourself out there and stand and get out there where the people are and see who needs some help, because they're around us every day. The church, it's okay to give money to the churches, but some of the churches, people can't get to them. And every time they try to get to them, they get a no. They get turned down. And I think that's what Dr. King would probably be a little upset about if he saw how we was handling the things that we have access to, or people have given to us to be able to use right, and it's been used wrong. But he has done so much for us to be able to stand and even talk like we are now and be able to express what we feel. But there, like you said, there are many people that are angry, still angry, haven't let it go. And I think that's going to be an issue when it's time for them to face God, when God said, "What have you done?" And they're going to say, "Well, we've done this and done that." But just because you still had this hardness of your heart, you're going to be faced with a lot of dilemmas here before God.
Right.
So I just wanted to express that this morning, and hopefully I could help share my thoughts with someone that may guide them and help them to understand the value of what Dr. King marched for.
Well, thank you for your call and comment. It's the first time calling. Make sure you call back every Saturday. It shows on from 7 to 9, so make sure you call back.
All right, God bless you.
You too. Let's go to our phone line. Let's say good morning to line 3. Randy, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How's your dad feeling?
He's gonna be fine. He's home resting. So
yeah, I seen him the other day. I think he was catching that same thing I was trying to get rid of.
Yeah, that flu's going around real bad. So be careful.
Hey, it's funny. I don't know if you know this answer. Do you know whether you have to pay to get in that Martin Luther King parade, like to have a float or a group of people or whatever, or just go down there and start getting in line?
I've participated in the past, not in Dallas. We didn't have to pay anything, but I'm not sure with Dallas.
So you could maybe just get a group of people and go down there and get in line, and nobody would say nothing about it, even if you was saying something they didn't really want to hear.
Well, I'm not sure with Dallas. I can try to pull it up and see.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe you have to pay. That's why I think they have 2 different parades around here. But my problem is, Dallas uses it, and everybody is calling in and complaining about, well, we give our money to our preacher, and then our preacher puts the money in the white man's bank, and we can't get no loan and nothing like that. And if you're having to pay to get into Martin Luther Parade in Dallas, which I think you do, then all we're doing is just making another revenue avenue for the city that obviously doesn't care about the low-income people until they try to say, "Oh, well, let's do some gun control. Let's have a little dog and pony show about gun control." But let me pull my list out, because I got one person I got a drone bomb today that didn't get their day in court that's going to die, maybe a couple of other people. It's strange that here in America that we try to say, we'll stand up there and listen to our politicians about gun control this and gun control that, when a lot of the major problems are in the larger cities and not in the countryside. I grew up just like the last gentleman, I was born in 60. I grew up in an era where we probably had shotguns, pocket knives, all that in the parking lot at school. But we never went in and shot up nobody. You know, it's the whole mindset that we're at it here in America that people go and do that. You can't, on one hand, say we want gun control when our military is running rampant around the world taking whatever they want. You know, that's counter. It don't make no sense. And what my question is today, and I asked Brother Barnett last week about it. Why we've had the pools in South Dallas closed for 2 years now, going on the third year. First year there was about 15 or 20 people out there with Miss Obazi and several other ladies out there with their kids, 2 or 3 men. There was more police officers there protesting. I mean, more police officers there to make sure we didn't get in that wading pool in front of City Hall to go swimming because the pools were closed, and there were people trying to get it turned around. So this is my plea to the people of Dallas that are calling and complaining. Let's focus. Martin Luther King, like Brother Barnett said, wouldn't even be in this parade. He would be ashamed. He'd be at church praying for their souls because they're acting all crazy. Why don't we focus and say, look, let's get these pools open. There's no reason why the poor income people in Dallas ain't got a swimming pool. Oh, yeah, there is. Because we don't stand up as men, just like you were saying. There's some of these church, or not you, one of the other callers, some of these churches said, we got 1,000 men in our congregation. What are you doing with them? Are we going to go one more? Would Martin Luther King, this is my question, would Martin Luther King allow these swimming pools to be closed for these kids another year? See y'all later.
Well, Randy.
And to answer Randy's question, it does not cost to go into the parade, but you actually have to be a group, organization, or a business. You can't just show up. Right. And also, it is not the city of Dallas that gains anything from this. Mm-hmm. It's independent organizations that put these on. So
right, that's what I figured. I didn't think it cost anything. I didn't participate in Dallas, but it didn't cost anything in the past. But thank you for your calling and coming, Randy. It's always entertaining when you call. Let's go to line 1 and say good morning to Joe. Good morning, Joe.
Hey, how you doing, Reverend Barnett Jr.?
Yeah, I'm doing just fine. Yourself?
Hey, man, you're doing your daddy proud, doing him proud.
Well, thank you.
I heard you little on the weather. He's an old bird. Just need to get him a little of that cow shuck tea. I know he's listening. Mm-hmm. Need to get him a big glass of cow shuck tea. He'll be all right.
Right.
Oh, the couple of things here. You mentioned something. You was right on point there a while ago about the people like Dr. King, how he was hated more than he was loved when he was here walking the earth. And that's usually the way it is. When you take bold, righteous stances, you're normally not loved by your contemporaries during your days on this earth. That usually comes long after you're gone because you are ahead, usually, as people will say, of your time. There are so many people that you're ahead of, and people hate change. It unsettles their comfort zone, and so it just bothers them. It takes them out of their comfort zone, and you're introducing them to things that they don't know, and many times they can't even see. So you look at Jesus Christ, you look at Einstein, the people of that particular Edison with the light bulb. Those people were considered crazy during that time. They were considered off-the-chart crazy. And we learned to love them and really appreciate them after they were gone because they were ahead of us. Mm-hmm. And people hate change. We say that we love change, but we really hate change, even when it's good for us because we can't really see it at the time. But and something else, your dad mentioned something, and I say in concert with him the same thing. Now, we got the parade going. It's a big one today by the city of Dallas. There's going to be a big one on Monday by Elite News. Mm-hmm. He talked about all of this embarrassing sexual gyrations of these band members and how deplorable and embarrassing it is, and he's exactly correct. That parade is helping to commemorate Dr. King's legacy, his life, and the like. And Dr. King was a Christian man of Christian principles and values, and we shouldn't do that. And I know this is coming a little bit late, but for some of these schools and these band directors, they should not allow that. Magnet Townsview when they come through. Outstanding band. I know they don't have football and all that. They basically got a band, but they are very dignified. Play some outstanding music, and it's enjoyed. We need to take ourselves to a better level. A lot of us like to see the hunting and the grinding and the monkey shines and stuff, but that Dr. King's Parade, that's no place for that. We should cut that mess out. We should cut it out. And last but not least, KKDA, we was represented heavily there, and a lot of people are walking around now. They're crying, they're mourning, they're confused. Some of them are confused about their confusion. But it goes without saying, when you don't own anything, you don't control that thing, usually. Have a good day.
All right, thank you for your call and coming, Joe. We up against a short break. We'll be right back. Don't forget to call in 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893 with your call and comment.
Sonny Bryan's Catering presents the 14th annual KNON Blues Festival on Saturday, January 26th and Sunday, January 27th at Poor David's Pub. Join us for the biggest blues event of the year, starring the Royal Rhythmaires, Bobby Patterson, Blues Boy Bo, the Aaron Burton Band, Andrew Jr. Boy Jones featuring Carrie LaPie, Pete Barbeck and Seventh Son, Bonafide Blues, the Deep Ellum Rhythm Kings, the Dallas Blues All-Stars featuring Hash Brown and Mike Morgan, the KNON Blues Review with J-Back, Sonny Boy Mark, Blue Lisa, and Jeff Stone, Big Charles Young, the Drew Lane Band with special guest Sirloin, and the Super Kings. This is the big one. You never know who's going to show up as a special guest. Don't miss out on this huge blues show. Advance tickets are only $15 and are available now at KNON.org, Bill's Records in Dallas, and Forever Young in Grand Prairie. See you at the 14th annual KNON Blues Festival presented by Sonny Bryan's Catering.
Hey, baby.
211 Texas, a program of the Texas Health and Human Services Commission, is committed to helping Texas citizens connect with the services they need. Whether by phone or internet, our goal is to present accurate, well-organized, and easy-to-find information from over 60,000 state and local health and human services programs. We have programs ranging from child care to GED instruction, from dental care to food pantries to public utility services. Contact 211 at 211texas.org or dial 211 to connect with the resources you need. If dialing 211 directly doesn't work on your telephone, you can call 877-541-7905 for 211 Texas. Don't let your family go without the help they need.
KNON presents its first Gospel Explosion Benefit Concert 2013. It'll be featuring the Mighty Travelers, Buddy and the Straightway Travelers, the Inspiration Calvary Singers, and the Lee Street Missionary Baptist Church Choir. This is taking place Saturday, January the 26th. Doors open at 5 p.m. No Walls Ministry. And it's located at 3200 South Lancaster Road, Suite 408, in the back of the Lancaster Keith Shopping Center in Dallas. Your tickets are available at Bubba's Fats Burger in West Dallas, Elaine's Kitchen in South Dallas, Comp Cleaners in Fort Worth, Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, and on the web, KNON.org. God's got a blessing with your name on it, so you don't want to miss this KNON Gospel Explosion Benefit Concert. It's going to be hosted by KNON's own, the sweetheart of gospel, Francis Smith, and Greg A. Smith. For further information, KNON.org or 469-471-4180.
All right, good morning. This is Church Information in Open Forum. I am Marion Barnett Jr., your host, filling in for Marion Barnett Sr., who's not feeling too well this morning. Got a lot of things going on. Want to make sure you guys keep calling in. That number is 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. Tomorrow you should be able to upload this show on YouTube at KNON.org, right? Just go to YouTube. It'll be up Tuesday. Okay, it'll be up Tuesday.
What happens is Tuesday when I come in, I add it to the KNON website, to each individual show's page. So if you go to KNON.org, click on the top tab, and then find Reverend Marion Barnett's show, you will see the last 4 shows on his page. There's also link on that page that will take you directly to the YouTube page that has all of the KNON videos.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So if you called in today, you can call in and actually see and hear yourself on the radio. That way, you kind of hear and see how you sound and get a copy of the show. All right. Let's go back to our phone lines. Say good morning to line 2, Michael Andrews. How you doing, sir?
Doing okay, Reverend.
Oh, no, this is not the Reverend, but this is his son.
Well, bless you, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good morning. What's your calling comment?
In 2003, Reverend Peter Johnson organized our group to speak before the Martin Luther King Jr. board.
What group is that?
We were independent, but we were requesting that there be no Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps wooden guns being carried in the parade. Do you know, do they still have the Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps children carrying their wooden guns in Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s honor?
I don't know. It's something we could probably pull up.
Because that was
repeat
a
your
hard
question.
fight.
Repeat your, I want to make sure we got it right.
Stand before those people and request that we don't want to limit people's freedom, but we felt that dishonored Dr. King's legacy of no weapons.
Okay. Well, repeat your question one time. We can probably look it up real quick and see if they still have it.
Does the Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps children's marchers still carry their little wooden guns in a parade honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy?
Okay. JROTC guns?
Yeah.
They do, yeah. I guess they do still have it, right? Well, we'll look it up and see.
If they could let us know on the air whether they're still doing that. Yeah. We don't mind the children marching in their uniforms, but carrying those wooden guns does not seem appropriate for Dr. King's legacy.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your call and comment, sir.
Could you find out for us?
Yeah, I'll find out for you before the show, and I'll give you that information.
And let us know on the air.
I sure will.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Andrews. All right, let's go back to our phone line. Let's say good morning to Benny. Benny, good morning.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Just finding yourself.
I'm doing all right. What I'm calling you about is the Martin Luther King parade that you was talking about, the fees and registration.
Mm-hmm.
There was a deal came up in not too long ago with the cowboys to ride their horses and things in the parade. And it was something that was given to them as far as them have to have those things. So would you tell the people that's going to be riding on the first part of there's a lot of people coming from out of town and stuff, that they're having the one in Lancaster?
Well, go ahead. You're on live right now.
Okay, hey, they're having the trail ride, getting ready for the parade for the horses out there in Lancaster. Victor Bates is the guy that's over it. He's over the DFW Riding Association. So if anybody that want to check out horse lovers, that want to check out horses, that's going to be in the Martin Luther King parade for this Saturday, it'll be over at Lancaster, over in Lancaster. And park over there by the tennis court, over there by the great big gym. We're not picking up boo-boo. So that's what the boss man said.
What time does this parade start?
This parade is going to start about 10 o'clock.
So same time.
Yeah.
10
So
o'clock next day.
the Cowboys and the Cowgirls going to be loading up, getting out there about 9. That's what Vic has, told the club members and stuff. The deal with the Martin Luther King on Mondays, man. I just like everybody to know that these guys come from all around that's been working on their horses or training somebody that want to ride in that parade. That's the reason why things are not kind of like organized, and the people just don't understand that when you have the police behind you, forcing you up into the procession that has stopped, that caused the horses have to spread out.
Mm-hmm.
And they're finding the horses, but they won't, they finding the people that's on horses, trying to keep them all crowded up, and that you can't do that. They need the constables to help them out with that back part of that parade. But I'm just tell everybody that, have a good time for Martin Luther King Parade, and I'm glad you're doing what your father got going on, and I like your selection of music too.
Okay, that's his selection. He loves his music.
Yeah, he do. All right, man. Appreciate it, and everybody have a good time for both days of the Martin Luther King Parade, man.
All right, now what school is performing? Is it just Lancaster High School out there?
I don't know. Everything have changed so much that I used to just deal with the horses.
Okay, so you just deal with the horses.
So it's going to be a lot. They should tell us what we tried to get an interview with Darryl, but we could never catch up with him to give us a live word on what we need to do about the horses and stuff. Because we don't want guys coming in there that don't have the right papers and stuff, get tickets and things. Man, they can go somewhere else and ride in the parade that they're welcome at. So, all right, hey, I appreciate it, young man. Thank you very much.
I thank you for your calling.
Yes, sir.
All right, Cecil. As of last year, the ROTC was carrying the wooden guns in the parade.
Okay. So as of last year, Mr. Andrews, they were carrying the guns, JROTC. Not sure on this year, but most of the parades start at 10 a.m. this morning. As you see, you got one going on in Lancaster. You have one at Dallas today. And Elite News has one Monday starting at 10 a.m. If you can't do anything else, and if you're not going to participate in if you can't stand up for what actually Dr. Martin Luther King would want you to do, visit these parades, but don't go to just abuse the situation and just for advertisement. About a year ago, I didn't go to a parade. I actually went to assist and help protests at the time, and I saw the parade going by and witnessed a lot of people promoting their business, and they took advantage of the situation. I don't think Dr. Martin Luther King would want a parade in his honor. That's just what I would think. I don't think he would love where we are as a people. I don't think he would be happy with what's going on. Many people that are doing this and putting this on didn't have an opportunity to know him, or wasn't even born during his time. And I feel the people that did it is your right, it's your duty to educate those. Like many callers said, they make jokes and do certain things, but people of that era don't laugh about it. And I'm one of those that, hey, I just respect my elder. I was raised that way, so I don't even make jokes about it. But many people around my age and younger, and some older, they do, but they weren't born during the time, and I don't feel like many people took the time to tell them, hey, it's not funny, it's not a joke. You wouldn't like it if someone talked about your parents that way. But again, these people that are making a joke, these people who have that open mic, that who have that camera in front of them, you kind of got to ask yourself, what are they standing for? If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So you got to be careful about what your kids see, because many of them see a comedian on a daily basis. You go to school and try to be comedians. In the classroom trying to be a comedian. They're going home trying to be a comedian. When you watch TV, typically you see us in roles of a comedian. Everybody's trying to be funny. And it's time out for all that. When do you stop and get serious? When do you take time, hey, I'm going to be serious about this. Put some passion towards something. Not this lukewarm spirit and just be funny, just to be liked. We have to take time out to be serious about something, put a plan together, and actually see it through. Okay? We got time for about one more call. So if you want to call in, that number is 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Keep in mind, you can go on YouTube and visit the show. If you get an opportunity to call in, hear yourself, and you get a chance to see what my father does on every Saturday from 7 to 9. You can go to YouTube, or you can log in to KNON.org Tuesday morning. KNON.org Tuesday morning, and download the YouTube app. Again, I'm talking on about a year ago. I took time out to go down with Justice Seekers and protest the Diamond Shamrock in South Dallas. And during that time, it just happened to be the MLK parade. Many people were stopping by, trying to see what was going on. Few in numbers, but loud in spirit. And Reverend Wright, my father, and a few others, I don't know everybody by name, was able to get exactly what they went down there for out of the situation. They were able to make sure that everyone in the neighborhood was aware of what was going on with that situation with Diamond Shamrock. Some of you, if you called in and you stopped by and participated, that was a very momentous occasion. And many people that are doing the parade got an opportunity to stop by, and I feel like that's what Martin Luther King would want. He boycotted. He did things for the people who couldn't do for themselves. He educated. He fought. Not for a parade, but for justice, for all. That's what he was about. He was fighting for justice for all. He wasn't about all this banning going on, gyrating down the street. But if we want to stop there, we can easily, as a community, go to these band directors and say, hey, let's not do all this during his parade. You have many schools that are participating, and we can get with these schools and sit the band directors down and tell them, hey, we don't want to see certain things in this parade. All right, so as a community, let's try to come together and let's try to put something in play to where we can stop the bands from doing certain things, and there's certain things that we want. And since now we know it doesn't cost to enter, you just have to be part of an organization, get something established. We can do it ourselves. We don't have to rely on others to do certain things. Okay, so let's do this for 2014 MLK Day. Let's put something together for ourselves, something that we can say he's proud of. All right.
Design.
All right. Let's go to our phone line and say last call. Good morning, line 1. Design. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I just wanted to say I'm feeling exactly what you're talking about right now, especially about the parade. And I'm a revolutionary hip hop artist based here in the Metroplex, and I've been called to some of these occasions, and I was also feeling that some of these things being put online is not really what Dr. King would have wanted.
Right. Now, you say you're a hip hop artist in Dallas?
Yeah, I'm in Fort Worth.
Okay. Is this your first time calling?
Yeah. This is my first time calling. I usually have my music playing on the evening show at 8:00, but I had the channel on 89.3, and I didn't know you had a show going on.
Okay. Oh, good. Well, yes, 7 to 9 every Saturday morning. You can call in every weekend, hear the views, and talk to the community.
Oh yes. Thank you for what you're doing, man.
Oh no, thank you for calling. Thanks for being the first time calling.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's all we have for today. I want to thank everybody who called in. I want to thank my father for giving me the opportunity to come down and fill in for him. It's always a pleasure. But let's get out this morning. Let's actually do something that Dr. Martin Luther King probably would be proud of. And don't let it stop here. Let this be the beginning of something that you do for a lifetime. Take it serious, not as a joke. Whatever you stand for, believe in it and see it through. Carry it out. Have some passion about something. All right. I know that's what Dr. Martin Luther King would want. So I'll see you at the parades, but hopefully I'll see you in the community doing something more productive. All right. This is Church Information Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett Jr., your host this morning, filling in for Marion Barnett Sr. He'll be back 7 to 9 next Saturday, and let's watch that inauguration. If you're not going, I want to say a prayer for the people who are going to the inauguration, and if you can't go, watch it on TV. All right. Thank you, and have a great day.
KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.